Hi, welcome to Papa's Workshop. Well, today I've got an interesting project to do. I need to be able to paint the handrails across the front of my porch, and I need to sand it first. And to be able to do that by hand is just absolutely crazy. So what I did, at Harbor Freight, I found one of these half-inch band file belt sanders, and I'm going to give that a try today. Now, this is not a sponsored video, but I think it's going to meet the needs quite well, and it's going to beat the heck out of doing a lot of hand sanding. So let's go ahead and open this up, see what it looks like inside, and give it a try. If it works, it's going to save me a whole lot of time and a whole lot of physical labor. So I'm hoping for the best for this tool. So let's get started. In the recent videos that I've done, I stopped asking for people to be able to like, subscribe, and share the video. And those algorithms just plummeted. So please, I'm going to ask again if you would help me out to be able to drive the algorithms. And if you're new to the channel, by all means, please hit that subscribe button and the little bell next to it so that you can be notified of the various videos that I upload. And please like and share this. When you like the video, it helps to drive those algorithms to be able to get this video out to all kinds of different people everywhere. So please help me out by subscribing, like, and share this video. So let's get back to today's project. A rule of thumb that I've always had in my shop, if I'm going to use a tool all the time, I'm going to try to find the best quality tool that I can. If I'm going to use a tool just occasionally, then I can find a lower cost alternative. And in this case, I'm not going to use this little belt sander a lot. And so I don't feel bad about going with a less expensive tool. Now this tool with a 25% coupon was only $29. So that's not bad. So this is the tool coming right out of the box. And it only has this, let's make sure. It has the Allen wrench. It has the manual for it. But it does not have any additional belts. It just has the one belt that's on here. And I went ahead, because I don't want to run out as I do the sanding, I went ahead and purchased some additional belts also. A rule of thumb that I've always had in my shop, if I'm going to use a tool all the time, I'm going to try to find the best quality tool that I can. If I'm going to use a tool just occasionally, then I can find a lower cost alternative. And in this case, I'm not going to use this little belt sander a lot. And so I don't feel bad about going with a less expensive tool. Now this tool with a 25% coupon was only $29. So that's not bad. So this is the tool coming right out of the box. And it only has this, let's make sure. It has the Allen wrench. It has the manual for it. But it does not have any additional belts. It just has the one belt that's on here. And I went ahead, because I don't want to run out as I do the sanding, I went ahead and purchased some additional belts also. Okay, how do you change the paper on this? You just set it over on its side and use the Allen wrench, and we can just unscrew that and take the cover off. And then if you flip it over, this is the sliding lock here. If you just twist that about a little over 90 degrees, then this belt will just slip right off. So that can't get much easier. This is real easy to be able to change that. Now, since this is a brand new belt, I'm going to put it back on and slide that right into position. And then we'll lock it back down. Not quite in position. There we go. And then we can just slip the cover back on. Tighten that up, set that aside. Then I'm going to plug this back in. I like it. I think this is going to be good. So let's go out to the front porch and see how it works with the sanding. One thing I do want to point out, as with the case with most of the type of belts for belt sanders, you have an arrow on here for the direction of travel. And that helps to prevent the belt from flying apart. So you got to be able to pay attention to the arrow, so the direction of travel, and make sure that you put the new belts on correctly. I want to show you some of the other features. This little knob right here, actually you loosen it, and then you can turn and adjust this. And then when you get it to the setting that you want it, you just simply tighten it back, and that locks it in position. Now, I already showed you this lock, and this adjusts the track. So as this is running, if you need to move it left or right to keep it centered on the wheels, then you can do that. This has a nice feature. You can actually turn it on. You push this down, and it locks it in position. And then when you're ready to turn it off, you can just simply push the button, and it releases and turns the unit off. You can definitely tell with the paint peeling there, that is a problem that I'm having, is to be able to sand in between each of these rails is just going to be a pain in the neck. So by being able to use this belt sander, I think it's going to help out quite a bit. I also have one of these type of vibrating or oscillating sanders, and it can get into the big areas, but it can't get into these areas like this. And this is where I think this sander is going to really, really help out. So let's get everything plugged in, hooked up, and give it a try. This is the first test with this new sander, and it works really good. It gets right into the area that it needs to. It goes all the way up next to the spindle and to the column, and it does an excellent job, and it doesn't take long. Now in this large area, I did try that little triangle oscillating sander, and it takes so much longer to be able to get this sanded down like it should. So this is proven to be a huge, huge time saver. The other thing that I like, notice how this is angled. It makes it where you can grab hold to it easily and still keep it flat, so you can point it exactly where you need and have it contact the surface. Guys, I'm loving this so far. Now to be able to show you, this is the perfect angle for what I'm working on right now. But really all I need to be able to do is just make a very simple change, twist it to a different direction. In this case it's straight, and I can still sand it. Now this is not as comfortable of an angle for me to be able to hold it, but again, in different situations, the ability to change the angle is so nice. I like that. And all you have to do is just loosen the little screw, turn it to the angle that you want, lock it back in position, and continue sanding. So it really takes no time at all to be able to change the angle to get that perfect angle for whatever you're sanding. I like trying to keep my wrist straight, so being able to turn it to this angle works extremely well. Now I wanted to give the little triangle detail sander a try, and although it gets in between the spindles really nice, it is not an aggressive sander, and it does not get rid of all that loose paint chips as well as the little belt sander did. Now I want to show you on the inside of this spindle, you can get right up inside this little bitty thin area and be able to do an excellent job sanding on this vertical spindle. Now the other thing that I like is that you can actually sand on both sides. So now I'm literally sanding on the top side. I'm holding the sander exactly the same way as I did the other side of the spindle. That also is a very nice feature. You don't have to change your whole structure of how you hold it to be able to get the job done. You can just use the top or the bottom of the sanding belt. Now if I take the other little sander, you'll notice it will not even get in there. I can't sand that inside of that spindle at all, and I really can't sand that side of the spindle either because the top of the housing of the sander is hitting the other spindle. So the little small detail sander is off to the side. It's just not going to do the job. And I'm back to using this little belt sander, and it does an excellent job. It is sanding this paint away, smoothing the surface, and really getting it prepared so that I can paint. And it's so much faster. I can remember several years ago when I had to paint this, and I actually sanded it by hand. That was not a lot of fun, and it took a tremendous amount of time. And you can just see how quickly this is going. Now I switched over to the palm sander to be able to do this area, because this is a nice open area, and this is the perfect sander for this job. So again, the belt sander, extremely good for the little details, small inside areas that you can't reach. And then I just switch over to the palm sander, and it gets these large open areas. And of course, I'll get the top rail with this sander also. Now literally after just a very few minutes, I've got all the loose paint all sanded, and this railing is now ready to paint. This has saved so much time, I could not begin to tell you how happy I am. Because in less than 30 minutes, this whole 8-foot section is sanded, dusted off, ready to be able to put paint to it. Well, here's the finished project. It's all painted now, and I have to say it took longer to be able to paint this than it did to do the prep work. And usually it's just the opposite. Prep work usually takes a whole lot longer. So this sander has proved to be a very, very definite asset. I am going to keep this in my toolbox, and of course I'm not going to be using it every day, but when I need a project like this, this tool is going to be handy, and I want to grab it every time because it's such a time saver. So I'm really glad that I bought this tool, and I'm glad that I used it, and I'm very happy with it. So there you have a quick review on this 1/2-inch little belt sander. And I tell you what, guys, it turned out to be a big surprise for me. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, and it did. It turned out to be fantastic for the job that I needed. Now, is this going to be used every day? No, not at all. But anytime that I have some very tight places that need to be sanded and I don't want to hand sand, I'm going to grab this tool. Now, I know the last couple of videos have been tool reviews, and I'm not turning this channel into a tool review channel, but this would just happen to be the needs that I had at the time, and I wanted to be able to share this information with you. Now, in the next video, I'm going to build a little storage box to be able to hold this, and I can put it in the cabinet. So you're not going to want to miss that. So if you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification next to it so that you can be notified each time that I upload videos. And in the very near future, it's back to the CNC machine, and we're going to start doing some 3D carving. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching today, and see you next time.